Welcome, future citizens. Every great hero needs a guide before embarking on an epic quest, right? Well, consider this explainer your ultimate companion. It's going to be your map, your shield, basically your entire survival kit for navigating the trials of the Canadian citizenship test. So grab your gear and let's dive right in. Now, you might hear around the campfire that the citizenship test has a 90 to 92% pass rate. That sounds pretty comforting, doesn't it? Like, hey, I've totally got this. But take a hard look at this sobering reality. 10%. A full 10% of first-time test takers fall into completely avoidable traps and fail. And we aren't just talking about a handful of people here. That literally means thousands of applicants each year are caught entirely off guard. The stakes are incredibly high, and solid preparation is literally the only way through.
So the question staring back at you right now isn't just rhetorical. Will you survive the Canadian citizenship test? Do you actually possess the knowledge required to navigate the upcoming pitfalls, outsmart the trick questions, and emerge victorious? Well, our goal today is to test your might and build up those defenses. Let's get started.
All right, level 1, dodging the common traps.
To pass your first major trial, you've got to identify the most dangerous misconceptions that routinely ruin perfect scores. Listen, the absolute #1 most missed trap on the entire exam involves the head of state. A massive amount of test takers confidently select the Prime Minister, and honestly, that is a fatal error. The head of government is the Prime Minister, but the head of state is the sovereign, currently King Charles III, who is represented in Canada by the Governor-General. To lock this in your mental inventory, just remember this super simple mnemonic. State and sovereign both start with the letter S.
Here's another frequent myth that catches people who just don't realize Canada actually has a second anthem. Oh, Canada is the national anthem, absolutely. But God Save the King is the royal anthem. You absolutely must be able to distinguish between the two of them. Don't let a sneaky multiple-choice question trick you into picking one when it's clearly asking for the other.
The test makers also really love to throw these two documents at you just to see if you stumble. Do not mix them up. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms is from 1982, and it is constitutional. Meanwhile, the Canadian Bill of Rights is from 1960, and it is statutory. That just means it's a regular federal law, not part of the Constitution itself. Keeping those dates and legal types clearly separated in your mind is basically like having a magic shield against tricky rights-based questions.
You also need to perfectly organize your inventory of government knowledge, mostly because about 35% of test takers completely mess this up. The test frequently asks which level of government handles specific services. Federal handles the big, national stuff: national defense, foreign affairs, immigration. Provincial handles things closer to home: healthcare, education, highways. And municipal? That handles your daily community life: snow removal, garbage collection, local police. Please don't guess on exam day. Map out exactly which level handles what right now.
Moving right along to level 2, mastering the timeline.
We are moving the quest forward into the treacherous grounds of Canadian history. And let this be your warning. History questions make up roughly 30% of the entire exam. A solid chronological map is your best defense against traps here. Think of 1867 as your starting point. That's Confederation, when Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick united. But the timeline expands really rapidly from there. In 1870, Manitoba and the Northwest Territories join. Just a year later, in 1871, British Columbia joins the party. Fast forward to modern history. 1949 is when Newfoundland and Labrador joined, becoming the very last province. Oh, and you can't forget 1999, which marks the creation of Nunavut. Do you see how it all flows together? You've got to memorize this progression.
Next up, level 3, acquiring your tactical strategies.
Okay, now that we've dodged the traps and mapped out the timeline, we really need to equip you with the essential tools to survive the absolute hardest sections of the exam. Here are your 3 ultimate tactical strategies for victory. Step 1. Create associations. Link dates to stories or quirky phrases. For example, memorize the year 1867 with the phrase 18 plus 67 equals Confederation grew up. I know, it sounds a little silly, but trust me, it works. Step 2. Identify common traps. If a multiple-choice answer seems way too obvious, you need to be highly cautious. Trick questions deliberately play on your quick assumptions. And finally, step 3, focus on the 10 to 15 key dates rather than trying to brute force memorize every single year in the study guide. Just prioritize the heavy hitters.
Listen, the absolute biggest preparation mistake of all isn't actually about what you study, it's how you study. Passive reading of the Discover Canada Guide is far less effective than active practice testing. A true hero trains actively. Data from thousands of test takers actually proves that taking practice tests is what prepares your brain to retrieve the right information when you're under pressure.
And that brings us to the final bosses, rapid-fire practice.
I really hope you're ready for this. We are entering the final gauntlet, a rapid-fire simulation of real, high-stakes practice questions pulled straight from the study materials. Let's see if your armor actually holds up. Here is your first hurdle. What are the three main groups of Aboriginal people? Take a second. Do you have it? The correct answers are Metis, Inuit, and Indian, also commonly referred to as First Nations. This is a foundational question, folks, and knowing all three distinct groups is entirely non-negotiable for passing.
Let's push forward to the next challenge. What was the Underground Railroad? Think about the options for a second. Spoiler alert, this wasn't a subway or a mining route. It was a secret network that helped enslaved people escape from the United States to freedom in Canada before the American Civil War. This is a vital piece of shared North American history, and they will absolutely test you on it.
Okay, let's throw a difficult history curveball your way to see if your timeline knowledge holds up under pressure. Who was forced to leave Canada during the Great Upheaval? Do you know it? The answer is the Acadians. Between 1755 and 1763, during this incredibly tragic period, they were forcibly exiled to Britain, France, or other British colonies. This question is tricky because it tests not just your knowledge of who, but your ability to recognize key historical events by their specific titles.
And here comes the final, crucial modern history question. What did Canada apologize for in 2008? Take a moment to think. Got it? In 2008, the Government of Canada formally apologized to Aboriginals who went to residential schools. This is a deeply important, defining moment in modern Canadian history. Knowing it is essential for demonstrating your understanding of Canada's rights and responsibilities. Well, we've reached the end of our quest today. So, do you have the knowledge to unlock your citizenship? We've navigated the common traps, we've mastered the historical timeline, and we've defeated the rapid-fire final hurdles together. But the real exam still awaits you out there. I hope this explainer has left you eager to dive even deeper into your studies, test your might with active practice, and ultimately claim your victory. You've got the map, now go conquer the test.